Hello and welcome to this video where I'm going to share my easy way to Mythic. So this is a deck that I came up with. It's not super original, but it is super efficient in that it will win you about 65% of your games if played correctly, all the way up to Mythic. Probably when you reach Mythic, your level of play will determine how well you do at that level where you are playing against the really serious players. So first of all, you're going to need some rare wildcards and some mythic wildcards, and I have, if you go to the description of this video, I've put a link to a site that has a list of promo codes, and it also explains how you use these codes to get a lot of packs, and I mean a lot of packs, and that should get you well on the way, maybe all the way to building this deck. If you don't get all the way to this deck, I am going on during this video, I'm going to explain which cards to get first, and that's kind of, it's self-explanatory in a way when you see how this deck functions. So let's get to it. This deck, if you can see here, it's called Out for Blood, and that's actually because it's just built on the pre-built deck that's in the arena called Out for Blood. And here you already have the 4 Bloodthirsty Aerialists. It's a 2/3 flying, and when you gain life, you get a +1/+1 counter on it. It's not a terribly good creature, but it works in this deck for reasons I will explain. In the same deck, you have 4 of a guy looks like this, but it's called Child of Night. And Child of Night is a 2/1 lifelinker for black 1. This guy is also a 2/1 lifelinker for black 1, but he's an adventure creature, and he has an adventure called Curry Favor, where you gain life equal to the number of knights you have in play, and he is, of course, himself a knight. So quite often what you want to do to be mana efficient is you want to have 1 knight in play, then you're going to play the Curry Favor, activate the Bloodthirsty Aerialist, get the +1/+1 counter, and then play the Smitten Swordmaster. Sometimes you can use the Curry Favor for lethal, and it looks like it's a very, very minor ability, but in this deck in particular, it works really, really well. So and these guys are common, so you can just start by going in and getting those. Those are no problem. Then you want to also have 4 of these. Vampire of the Dire Moon also looks like a pretty bad card, but it is very key that it has Death Touch, because people are not willing to block it, and that means we can get in there and we can activate our Spectacle cost as early as turn 2, and that's very important for this deck, as you will see. It's also a lifelinker, so it combos pretty well with the Bloodthirsty Aerialist. So, and these are in the deck already. So, next you have some of the win conditions. This guy, I think there's 1 of him in the deck. He's a rare, but you absolutely need to get 4 of these. This is the first thing you should prioritize with your wildcard. This guy is insane and nobody plays him, and I don't know why. He's a 1-drop, he's a 1/2, and he's a knight, so he can work with the Smitten Swordmaster. Also, he has 2 really nice abilities. He can get Death Touch and +3/+3 for black 2, which makes him a very real threat for the opponent. And I will include some games, and you can also find other games with this deck on this channel, so you can see just how effective this actually is, because this deck is a mono black aggro deck. It's an aggro deck. You want to really put your opponent under pressure. What we are doing with this deck essentially is that people are playing all these combo decks. Really nice decks, and you get to draw a million cards, and you play a million spells a turn, but it takes some time to set up. Usually it takes about 5 turns to set up. This deck wants to win about on turn 5, or if it's not winning, then it wants to have a board state that where the opponent is under so much pressure that he has to make bad blocks in order to stay alive, and he has to really respect the board state and not just play all his fancy cards at that stage. And that just works a high percentage of the time. Okay, so Next thing you want to prioritize is not the gutter bones. The gutter bone is really nice, but I'll talk a bit about him later. But the next thing you want to prioritize with your wildcards is the Spawn of Mayhem. This is a mythic rare. It's a 4/4 flying trample. And at the beginning of your upkeep, Spawn of Mayhem deals 1 damage to each player. Then if you have 10 or less life, put a +1/+1 counter on Spawn of Mayhem. So he has a spectacle cost of black 1. So ideally, you 1-drop a Vampire of the Dire Moon, and then on turn 3 you can activate this guy's spectacle cost. People are not really willing to block the Vampire, and then and also just people are not really blocking on Arena. Just, you can bluff a lot of attacks. Just keep mana up, so it looks like you have something, and people are just usually not willing to block. Alright, so this guy is one of our primary win condition. He just gets in there, gets in for a lot of damage very, very quickly. And the fact that he grows if we have 10 or less life is really nice when we are playing against the MGTA AnaxCleave deck. That's also going to pressure our life total. A lot of the decks are not going to pressure our life total, and then this doesn't matter that much. But the decks that do pressure our life total, it's very nice that we get this guy growing. Okay, so you want 4 of these as quickly as possible, because this is a very, very good card in this deck. So, and next you want to prioritize the Gutter Bones. The Gutter Bones is also a 1-drop. It's very crucial that you can play this guy on turn 1 if you don't have one of the other guys. He's not a knight, unfortunately, but he has power 2, and that's just the relevant thing about him. There's a minor thing that he also there's some graveyard recursion going on, where if you can play black 1 and you have your opponent has lost life this turn, then you can return him to your hand, which makes him really good with our next mythic rare, our next very important card, which is Rankle, Master of Pranks. Now this card is very, very strong. Obviously it's a mythic rare, and it's just very strong, but you don't need to prioritize him that highly actually, but he's really good. He has flying, he has haste, and he just gets in there on turn 4. And what you want to do is probably you want to have each player sacrifice a creature, then want to sacrifice your Gutter Bones, and then you just want to recur your Gutter Bones. And then the 2 other abilities, you are just going to check out the board state and see which ones are most relevant. And there will be examples of this in the example games I give on the channel. If you notice here, we have 4 Murderous Rider. You actually don't need to prioritize this guy that highly, because you can just have, until you get the wildcards you need, you can just have 4 murder in it. It's not as good at all, but it'll do the job until you get the wildcards needed. This guy can kill Planeswalkers. It's really nice, and he has lifelink, really nice with the Bloodthirsty Aerialist, and he's a knight. Really nice with the Smitten Swordmaster. And now we come to the Drill Bit. The Drill Bit is probably the most important card in this deck, but you want to prioritize it kinda low, but it is an uncommon, so probably you can get it right away. It's a discard spell. Target player reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card, and it costs black 2. That's way too much, but it has Spectacle 1 black. So ideally, turn 1, you 1-drop a Vampire. Turn 2, hit with the Vampire, hit them with the Drill Bit. Then you find their combo piece, the most important card. Not the card that they're going to threaten you with the next turn. You're just going to take, like for instance, you're going to take the MGTA out of the AnaxCleave deck. You're going to take Sweepers out of the control deck. You are just going to take whatever they are building up to. They're going to take that out, and that will cripple their deck, and sometimes they just resign to it, but a lot of the times they are just way behind after that. And this is turn 2, then you play a land, and then you play, say, a Gutter Bones or a Knight of the Ebon Legion, and you are already getting in there and pressuring them. Then we have what I call the wild cards in the deck, and that's just these two, Disfigure and Erebos Intervention. You can put a lot of different stuff in this slot. When I get to Mythic, I put 2 Foulmire Knights. I can show you that guy. He looks like this. He's a 1/1 Death Touch, and he has an adventure where I can draw a card and lose a life. Because at the Mythic level, you see the only guys that actually play creatures are the AnaxCleave decks, and we are doing really well statistically against the AnaxCleave decks anyways, so we don't need this this extra removal going on here. On the way to Mythic, I kind of like just having these because it just makes a lot of games really short when they are trying to out-aggro you. But you can put a lot of different stuff in this slot. All right, so that is the deck. I'm going to show you how it plays. You should expect if you master the strategy and the tactics, and none of which are too complicated really, you should expect to win about 65% of your games all the way up to Mythic. Let's take a look at how this works. So let's just dive right into the standard ranked pool. Let's get some opponent, and let's see if we can kick some ass with this. With mono black aggro deck that doesn't have a name. If you have a suggestion for a name, just put it in the comments. All right, let's see. We have a good hand here. We have the 2 1-drops, and we want to play the vampire first. 2 reasons for that. People don't want to block her, and also it's a less valuable target for kill spells like shock and other stuff, disfigure and the like. So we're getting her shocked. So that's our less valuable target. We can play the knight. We have a little too many lands, to be honest, because we don't need that many lands in this deck. So that could be a problem. We are getting this guy killed, but we are playing against a mono red deck by the looks of it, and they are trying to control the situation by killing all of our creatures, and that is absolutely not what and this is an MYTHIC deck, and that's not what an MYTHIC deck wants to be doing. And here we see the disfigure, and that's the reason why I play with this until I reach Mythic. You can just blow this deck out and just win very quickly with this. So you can see I have just an incredible turn. I get in here for 2, gain 2 life, activate Spectacle, play the huge demon, and I am putting my opponent under some serious pressure. They have 3 cards in hand. If one of them is a lava coil, I am dead. If not, I am winning. So let's see what's going on. The runaway Steamkin, absolutely not going to cut it for my opponent here. And maybe my opponent is just not that good at playing the deck, or he had a bad draw, because you don't want to play the Steamkins in this way. You want to get them down earlier, and then you want to get the counters on them. And he's not going to block here. People never block, and we are doing really well. Of course, a lava coil will still give us serious problems. He has 4 cards in hand plus the adventure. Scorch Bitter, not going to cut it. Not afraid of that. You can play the Calamity, not going to cut it either. So you can see I'm putting my opponent under some pressure with his life total, and that's what this deck wants to be doing. Now he's trying to pressure me a little bit, but okay, he's pressuring me. Yeah, okay, I'm at 15. Gotta watch the life total a little bit, but I am so far ahead, and I also have the life linger. Okay, bam, bam. Okay, now I get a second demon. Probably we are winning. We keep the knight back as a blocker. and the lifelink is just. But I think the lifelinkers are the reason that we are doing so great against these AnaxCleave decks, because they are set up to just take me from 20 to 0 life, you know. But if I gain 5 to 10 life during a game, then that whole machine is not working as well oiled and as elegantly as they want it to. And okay, so you're attacking with everything. I will block, gain a little bit of life if they don't have any sort of first strike trick, and I don't think they do. Okay, here we see the MGTA. It's not going to be enough though, because we have the lifelinker. So they gain double strike, they do gain trample, so this guy is going to get in there for 10 damage, but I am going to gain 2 life back here, and that's important, of course, because otherwise I would be dead to the demons, but now the demons will win me the game. So yeah, I think there's a pretty good example of why you want to, of just a different reason why you also want to play those lifelinkers. Oh, and we're getting close. We are getting close. 1 win. Can we get 1 win? Let's see. So yeah, the lifelinker is really important against AnaxCleave decks. Let's see what's going on here. Who will we get? Furnace Witch. That sounds like a magic card, like an old school magic card. Oh, this hand is awesome. If we had a drill bit, this would be the perfect hand. So we drop the gutter bones first, less valuable target, and also can get in faster for more damage. Also, we wanted to untap. Not that we are blocking a whole lot with this deck, but if we are, we want that, you know, we want to maximize. We are maximalists. Okay, we are attacking. We are double spelling on turn 2. And these knights, they can look redundant because you can usually only activate the activated ability of one of them. But you have to remember, if we get in for 4 damage, or if anybody loses 4 life during a turn, they do get +1/+1 counters, and that also counts. The counters counts. You will also notice that with the Bloodthirsty area lists. I will be talking about that if we don't in a different video, if we don't get to show it here. So you can see how I get the counters now, and that counts. I have the demon in play. This is going really well, but the 2 lands in hand, not too satisfied with those. Okay, probably Elspeth is not going to be a big problem for us right now, because we can just, we'll just probably play the Erebos intervention for, or maybe not, because we can get in for more damage. I think we should attack first, maybe, see if he will block. Oh, this is difficult choice. It's because Elspeth will eat the Erebos, but if we attack and he doesn't block, we will get in for additional 3 damage, and that's going to pressure his life total a ton. Like, we have the demon, we are going to attack. So if he doesn't block, and if he blocks, we'll just throw the Erebos in response. Well, not if he blocks that though, I think. Will we do that? I think we'll just pump the knight. So that's the thing, because also it's a very weird block he made there, because look at this. Now we're getting in for 9 points of damage. If the Spawn of Mayhem lives, then he'll get another point of damage from the triggered ability on my start of turn, where it just pings both of us, and he can't. Yeah, that could be unfortunate because it's a lifelinker, but we got the Rankle and he has haste, so that's not. Yeah, we are winning. I'm pretty sure we're winning. Play the Rankle, attack with everything. He gains 3 life. He is on 1. Yeah, we are winning. We are winning. And will he Will we see a head explosion, or will we get in there for the damage? Let's see. So, bam, bam, bam. Gain the life. It's not enough. -2. And here we go. Look at that. Yes. Mythic. So, if you want to see that, the little mythic emblem there, well, try this deck out. It's actually really fun to play if you like playing standard. So, yeah, and if you want some tips and tricks on the tactics of this deck, I will make some more videos on the channel where you can see like some lessons about how to play the deck. And yeah, enjoy.